Morning, Devin.
Good morning.
Speaking of finding money, we were just discussing holiday tipping. Who do you tip extra at the holidays? Number one on the list apparently is housekeepers. Do you give an extra something special to the housekeeper at the McCourty household?
Yes, I do. Housekeepers. We have a babysitter. That comes in during the week. I try to find a way to tip all the recycle and sanitation people that work. It's hard to kind of tape something on the garbage can or something. But I try to go out of my way. We have a lot of people that also work in the facility that do a ton of good things for us. And as a team, we always try to help out and do good things and tip and, do those good things around this time of the year.
Equipment manager's number one on the list.
Always. It's a lot of people for us. And, we got a lot of people that do, some of the things that I don't think anyone wants to do, clean up after us in the facility. And, I think Slater said to me one year, he was like, we're very fortunate in our facility as players. We live a life where everyone kind of serves us, whether it's in the treatment, equipment room, cafeteria. And it's always important to remember to have, a leadership quality and a servanthood mentality about serving other people. And, as athletes, I think we need to do a good job of that because we can easily forget, how many people serve us, offer us to go play a game, about helping other people out in their lives and doing the right things.
We used to tip with the autographed 8x10, but you probably go cash, right?
It's better than cash, the 8x10.
Resale on that, baby.
It's priceless, huh, Wiggy?
That's it, Can't put cash on the wall.
All right. Well, listen, Monday night is Wiggy is calling this a must-win. I know you guys treat every week like it's its own experience, but as a team, are you looking at this game on the road as the one that you must win?
Yeah, I would say we're looking at the rest of the season like that. I think just where we're at in the season, we're about to be kind of mid-December. We're 6-6. I would say every time we step on the field, we need our best performance if we want to play more than 5 games. And I think that's just the reality of the situation, and it'll start Monday night in Arizona. Whether you declare it a must-win or whatever you want to say, we can't really afford to not go out and play our best football. Wherever that leads us, I think we have to understand and be okay with that. But I think to be the team and to continue to want to play together and be this team, we gotta develop and bring our best ball for the rest of the season. No matter what the circumstance is, we gotta start finding ways to win. And I don't know what that's gonna look like in each game we have left. But we gotta try to make sure we have more points than the other team.
Well, Dev, when you look at this game, it's kind of similar to maybe what you saw early in the season against Chicago and against Baltimore with a quarterback like Kyler Murray, if he ultimately plays. Where you guys struggle a little bit. You gave up 82 yards on the ground to Fields and 100 to Lamar Jackson. How do you make sure that, you're taking away – you guys did a good job on Josh Allen, but taking away a guy like Kyler Murray's legs or doing your best to slow him down because of the capability that he has to make big plays with his legs?
Yeah, I think like you said, we took a little step forward, I think, with, how we played against Josh Allen. But ultimately that didn't lead to a win. But I think it's what you said. It's trying to take that away. It's trying to keep him in the pocket. And it's also understanding that, every play is not going to be perfect. He might make a play or two where we have contained, but he outruns the guy. But it's down after down knowing what it looks like to rush him the right way. There's some things we might have been able to do all season that you can't do this week. And I think it's understanding, and I think it's the discipline to do it every snap. I think when any game you play, whether it was Fields or Marjack, there's plays we did it, but then there's a few plays that you don't, and these guys will absolutely kill you when you don't do that. So I think it's just being disciplined to do it, every snap, every time, and not let the couple plays where, we make a decision to go inside instead of staying outside, or someone decides to, be a little off in a spy or some type of rat that we have called, and then that's the play that hurts us. So it's just being disciplined to do it every play. And sometimes we detail that as doing the hard thing each play when that thing shows up.
Devin, I know the Bills dealt with illness before the game they had with you guys, and I saw DeAndre Hopkins was listed. He missed practice yesterday due to illness. There were reports coming out of your locker room this past week that a lot of guys were in masks. Was that just precautionary, or is something going around there too?
No, I think right now something's going around everywhere. My kid's school, it seems like everyone has some type of illness. And, I would also say it's that time of the year. And you combine that with, coming off COVID where everyone wore masks really everywhere we went. Everyone's building back their immune system. So, I think we've still had guys, at practice and doing what they have to do. But, I would say overall, you look at some teams, it's probably really bad where you're talking about 15, 20 guys. We haven't been like that, but, I think it's definitely that time of the year where the sniffles or, you just wake up not feeling as good as you did the day before. But we always talk about this time of year is taking care of yourself, washing your hands, doing all the little things to try to stay healthy.
So you had another player in this run, it seems like the past couple of weeks, whether it's Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, now you get DeAndre Hopkins, and then you can just, it's coming ahead as far as the wide receivers that you guys are going to face. A guy like D-Hop, when you're trying to defend him, what's the biggest thing that you look at and say, okay, we have to make sure we take this away from him, or is he just one of those complete wide receivers that you might honestly have to double all night long?
Well, he's definitely one of those complete wide receivers. And I think, like you mentioned earlier, the reality is there's no more off weeks for us when it comes to receivers. For the rest of the season, we're going to play against the best guys in this league. But I think Hop is one of those guys that even when he's covered, he's not covered. And I think that's what's made him great throughout his whole career of making contested catches. You've seen some of those this year, one-hand catches against the Chargers in the back of the end zone against the Vikings. Like, he makes tough catches. So we got to be aware of where he's at. There's going to be different times, different things in the game plan where we're going to be able to just totally try to take him away. And there's other times we just got to compete against him. And that's just what this league is. And I think you see it week in and week out when you turn on the film. But, I think with Hop, a guy that's, older now, and I think people kind of forgot, early in the season when he was suspended and he came back, he's been on a tear. Just the targets, everything that he's doing, he's just been absolutely killing. So he's definitely a guy that we're gonna know where he's at. We're gonna be aware of where he's at all game, and we got to just try to do a good job of competing and making it tough for him.
I mean, you essentially said earlier that you need to win out. Have you considered, when it comes to motivating the guys, pulling a Patrice Bergeron and telling them that this is your last go at it?
No, that doesn't do anything, man. These guys are competing. I think this is everybody's livelihood, and everybody plays for something different. I don't expect any guy to come in here and be like, man, I'm playing because Devin McCourty's not playing next year. And, I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. So I think it's just, I was saying that yesterday when I was at the podium. I think the biggest thing as leaders, as veterans, is coming in and doing it. We'll go to Arizona Saturday for a Monday night game, and then we'll be there on the West Coast for the next week. It's going and it's showing these guys the routine and doing it day in and day out for the rest of the season so guys can see that and figure out what they need to do. And for guys that are a little unsure, it's following the guys that have done it before. So I think that's the biggest key, not saying something that might be true, might not be like that, doesn't really matter.
Might be true.
Oh, might be true. Okay.
I think you should allow us to break news on this program, Devin. I think you should just say it. Just say it.
So for the last 5 weeks, is that going to be Greg's point to me every week?
Yes.
Break news here.
Yes.
Greg, are you telling me that I need to retire and be done? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I would never say that. I feel like you could play longer than Tom Brady.
All right, now you're just lying.
Just give us the sit down after the season.
Yeah.
Who retires first, you or Tom Brady, Devin?
Greg.
Definitely, probably me. Tom Brady has no reason to stop.
Devin, when you bring up that there's only 5 games left of the season, and you look at the first half, or I guess we're way past the halfway point, and the penalties that have been made on this pretty disciplined team, how do you fix that in the locker room as a leader and make sure that you finish out strong and correct mistakes made in the past?
Yeah, that is one of the things that, I think has been really tough for us because, since I've been here, we've always talked about, being one of the least penalized teams. So, that always comes down to, what Coach Belichick always preaches is fundamentals. And when you do the things the right way, you usually avoid being penalized. So that's something that, we continue to work on, like being in pads yesterday, working those fundamentals in the blocking and not as much tackling, but, covering guys, not holding, like doing all of those different things, I think have to show up. And, the games we haven't been penalized much are usually our best games. So that's definitely going to be a key, I think, for us. But it's hard to just, we talk about it, we preach it, but ultimately, like, it comes down to doing it in those key moments in the game. There's nothing like you can do in practice to make that perfect. It's just each person doing those right things, those hard things, like I talked about earlier, in the moment you have to avoid being penalized.
All right, Devin, go get them, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys, have a good one.
All right, there's Devin McCourty on a Patriots Friday.